brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. I have a full table, I've got a lot of good beer, and here we are. Okay.
America wins. America wins.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
We've also got scripts. Let's try them.
Oh.
That's
Come on.
Allegedly.
Yes.
That would take the fun out of everything, right?
There's nothing on these pages.
No, there's
Well,
all...
I see some crayon.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the insane.
I drew a rocket ship on mine.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to another Sud segment where good beer meets really bad radio. With me today at the table is good old boy Dave.
I tell you, don't get no respect at all.
Yep.
True story.
Yep, that is a very true story.
Yeah.
Just happened.
Thank you. Good old boy Kendall is in the house.
Always great to be here. Looking forward to it.
And good old boy Kendall has a great blog called Beer Makes 3, which we will discuss later in the episode.
It's got words and things.
Lots of words.
Lots of words.
Yeah.
Pictures, maybe?
Pictures?
Quite a few pictures.
Dirty ones.
Hey.
None of those.
Also at the table is good old boy Sparky.
I'm just glad I get to be on this balanced show and hang out with the big boys.
Wow.
And also with us today is good old boy Tim.
I'll be starting a dirty picture blog.
Well, this segment is sponsored by...
Stuff and Things. Do you like stuff? Do you need things? Well, come on down to Stuff and Things. We have more stuff than anyone, and our things are very competitively priced. Stuff and Things, Things and Stuff, Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things. Now with more stuff.
So in today's episode, we're going to be discussing Allagash Brewing Company, from Portland, Maine. I'm really excited to try their beers today. And we're going to skip the whole part where we pretend that Dave doesn't know what the show is about, or I ask him if he did some research, because we all know what the answer is to that. So, Dave, why don't you read from the Allagash website?
Wait a minute. If we're cutting out the shtick, I refuse to participate.
Okay, fine. Kendall, you tell us about Allagash, and you can have Dave's share of the beer.
From the website, Our Story. Allagash Brewing Company started in 1995 as a one-man operation in a small corner of a warehouse in Portland, Maine. It was a log cabin, a one-room log cabin. Founder Rob Todd had worked in a brewery setting before and recognized a void within the craft brewing movement. While both German and British styles had become prevalent throughout the U.S., the ever-creative Belgian styles were very difficult to find. Through his travels, Todd had sampled many of these unique beers and wanted to share these flavors and traditions with the American drinking public. God bless you, man. He assembled a small 15-barrel brew house from used equipment and began the quest. God, words are hard.
Quest.
Shut up. Began his quest towards the production of traditional Belgian-style ales.
Go Todd.
Rob sold... Why does he have two first names? That is ridiculous.
That is perfectly normal.
Rob sold his first... Tim Tom. Rob sold his first batch of beer, the very first Allagash White, in the summer of 1995. Since that time, Allagash Brewing Company has grown and expanded. Now we're available in 17 states, not this one, sadly, in the District of Columbia, but we're still brewing beers on that brew house Rob welded together. Still aging and bottling specialty beers in the warehouse, where the first batches of white were brewed, and still striving to share our interpretation of Belgian-inspired beers.
Great work.
You done good.
Wow. Not Allagash people, Dave.
That hurt me a lot.
Rob Todd forgives you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Sorry, Rob Todd.
Stop, Rob.
All right, now that we got that out of the way, Kendall, help us out here. Would you please tell us about today's lineup?
Sure. The Allagash Brewing Company beers we'll be tasting today are Farm to Face, ale brewed with peaches. 16 something or other.
Counties.
Which one's on the bottle and which
Counties.
one's on the script? 16 counties. Not 16 candles for you John Hughes fans.
Womp, womp, womp.
16 candles, a main sourced ale. Counties? Candles?
Counties.
It's actually made with candles.
But it is.
True
It
story.
is. It was a waxed bottle. No, I'm just
We
kidding, it
have
wasn't.
said this too much, and now I'm confused. 16 counties, a main source ale. Tiarna, ale aged in oak barrels. Nancy, ale brewed with cherries. Evora, ale aged in brandy barrels. And Golden Brett, also an ale aged in oak barrels.
That was well done.
That was. Thank you, Kendall. Sparky, would you please enlighten us with the Suds ratings for today?
I'd be
In
glad to.
your best Maine accent.
My glass Maine?
Yeah, you're.
Oh God, I don't even. What is a Maine accent? I mean, I think I just like go into some Bostonian thing and
Think
things
it's
would go
more
off
Canada?
the rails.
Give very bad
it's kind of
directions.
close to that,
Boston?
but even more intense.
All right,
Give bad directions.
I feel I am slipping into a JFK. We will be discussing and rating these beers with these Suds ratings plus our signature belching sounds. Here are those ratings now. 1. That sucks. Give me anything but a bud. 2. Was that a belch? 3. What a relief. 4. Buddy should not really be making that kind of sound.
If your buddy's making that sound, you need to tell him to shut up.
And 5. Listen to that hang time. Give me another.
Well, I think that was, as someone who has never been to Maine, I think that was a great Maine accent.
I think we just got banned in Maine.
Yeah. If JFK was from Maine.
Banned once again.
If JFK was from Maine, yeah. Maine, Massachusetts, they both start with M.A. Think about it.
It's close enough. I mean, those guys are all so close together, and really, who
Yeah,
cares?
Yeah, you can't tell the
Take
difference.
that, northeastern United
Yeah.
States.
Up yours, New England.
I'm crying a little. Okay. Well, let's get on to the beer, shall we? Good old boy Dave, why don't you start us off?
Okay, let me just say for the record that if you have tasting cups that are plastic, and someone
Oh,
writes
boy.
the names of the beer on them with a
Oh,
green Sharpie.
Oh, boy.
So the first one is Farm to Face. Ale brewed with peaches. Drinking the medium-bodied beer is like drinking... Oh, wait, hold on. Crap. More words. God, why is everything with words? Drinking this medium-bodied beer is like biting into a juicy yet tart peach. Farm to Face is brewed as a pale ale and then fermented for 10 months in stainless tanks with house yeast. After primary fermentation, we add Pediococcus lactobacillus and a whole lot of peaches. Wow, I can say lactobacillus, but I can't say peach. Wow, that's weird. A lot of peaches. In fact, for every gallon of beer, we add 3 pounds of peaches. That's ridiculous. From our friends at Applecrest Farm. Wait a minute. They get peaches from Applecrest? In New Hampshire,
I smell
aromas of green apple and graham cracker accompany a lingering peachy finish. This is a 6.2% ABV beer. Yeah, it's very peachy.
It's delightful.
It's delicious. I'm in love with this beer. It's the first time I've ever had it. I mean, this is one of the... I've had some really good peach sours before, but this is legit.
It is. What I dig about it is that it's not just about the peach flavor, but you're also getting the breadiness gives you the nice crust. I mean, it's really like having like a really nice peach pie.
Right.
Not too sweet, just perfect amount of of tartness and flavor coming through, and it's a gorgeous beer.
Yep.
I thought it was really crisp and light. It was very effervescent at first. It had a lot of carbonation, and that just kind of lit up the flavors all through your mouth.
Yeah.
And that peachiness, you're right. The breadiness of it just gave it this combination of just like a good baked pie goodness. And I thought it was delicious. Probably one of my favorites of the flight.
I was surprised it didn't pick up really a whole lot on the nose, but like when you tasted it too, it's just, in addition to what you guys all mentioned, had a really nice creamy mouthfeel. I mean, I think I was just kind of like you were saying, just all around, it just kind of enveloped your palate. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the acidity in it was just super like sharp and crisp, and kind of, I don't know, it let everything else shine as well, like the peach flavor. And that's a long time to sit in the primary fermentation for 10 months. I guess it must have been pretty complex little activity going on there. And then adding all that bacteria. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of layered on in a great way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing I like about the tartness of it is it was real gentle. You know, some beers are just so sour they rip the enamel off your teeth. Others are just so tart it's very puckering. But this was a very just gentle tartness that was present. It was almost palate cleansing at the end, but I thought it made for a beautiful finish on the beer.
Yeah, it was pronounced, but not. It didn't linger, and to your point, yeah, just rip the skin out of your mouth.
Like 3 pounds of peaches for every gallon. I mean, that's a lot of.
That is
It really is a lot of peaches.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they did like that 15-barrel system he originally had, it's like 500 gallons, 1,500 pounds of peaches.
Wow. I mean, that's tremendous, but it doesn't taste overly done. That's what's so cool about it. Anyways, collectively, all of us gave this a 5. Go figure.
Big time.
Well, we'll be right back after this brief interlude.
Hey, listeners. You've probably noticed a few more ads on the show lately. We don't like ads. You probably don't like ads. It's not really a surprise who does. But as we endeavor to do bigger and better shows, we've accepted the fact that it does take money to make this whole thing work. So, we want to offer you, our listeners, goods and services from companies that we trust and that we believe you will find relevant. Especially products that we have or would personally use ourselves. Please, consider testing out a product or service from one of our advertisers that helps support Sip, Suds, and Smokes. Don't forget to use our unique listener link or discount code on that product or service for the best deal. We only run 1, maybe 2 ads per episode to help minimize breaks. Your ongoing support of our show and its advertisers really is humbling. We truly couldn't do it without you. Thanks, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Welcome back, everyone. We are talking about Allagash Brewing Company from Portland, Maine.
Woo,
Yay!
Huzzah! Bigger
Huzzah.
bottles, Allagash. Bigger bottles.
Yeah.
Anyways, next up, good old boy Kendall, what beer do you want to talk about?
Next up is 16
Counties.
Who put candles on the script?
Shut up.
Who writes these scripts?
Some idiot, okay? Some moron. Was thinking about Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall when he put this script together.
Things escalated rapidly after
Got
that.
a little weird.
I'm trying to think of a great long duck dong quote, but just can't do it.
No more Yankee, my wanky. The donger needs sleep.
Such a great movie. But anyway, this is 16 counties. And what's interesting about this beer is they brewed it with ingredients from all over Maine. So most of the malt that they used was grown. I think all of the malt they used was grown in Maine and, even malted up there. I didn't realize they had little malt houses up there, but it looks like they do.
What is it, Maine, like 2 square miles big or something?
Hey.
No.
It's gigantic.
Maine is
It
massive.
is.
It's huge.
They just kind of keep to themselves, I think, is why the footprint is not larger. They're
Yeah.
just...
Maine is it's bigger than the rest of New England combined.
Yes.
Well, they kill
Yeah, well, how big is
outsiders.
that?
That's one of the reasons.
Yeah,
That's what I mean by
that's
keep
They
to
keep
themselves.
it quiet.
They
They just
murder you when
hide
you
the
go up there.
bodies.
It's a beautiful place up there. I've been fortunate to get to Portland, Maine 2 or 3 times and
Didn't you
just
go this
love
year?
it. I was just up there. Yeah,
I thought
didn't
you
make
guys
it to
were up there.
Allagash,
Oh, okay.
on this trip I didn't make it to Allagash because there's like everywhere else. There's so many new
Say
breweries.
there's only like a million
And
great breweries
I had a
there.
great visit in Allagash a few years ago. Had a great insider's tour. Got to see the Cool Ship and their little Cool Ship shed with the beautiful stained glass window.
Cool Ship shed.
I love Allagash. But yeah, this trip kind of in and out, so we didn't make it. But wow, what a great city. If you ever get a chance to go to Portland, you should go.
Let's do it. Road trip.
Yes. And as big as Portland is, they only have 16 counties. That's pretty cool. That's the
Maine?
beer.
And
That's
16 candles.
As big as Maine is. There's no counties in Portland.
No sass mouth.
Which mostly, I think the state is mostly trees.
I've heard there's some beautiful lakes.
Sir.
That was sincere.
We need to learn more about Maine.
Apparently, we have
It's
not.
Well, they
decided.
do make great beer.
We have not
Any beer that I've
researched-
had,
But you
Maine,
know what?
Maine Brewing
They can
Company
hang
or
with
beer
the big
company,
boys
I should say,
up there.
Allagash.
Yeah, they
balanced.
can't hang with the big boys.
Okay, so getting
get back
on
to the beer.
Yeah, let's get in.
16 candles.
Shut up.
You know, I thought this one was very earthy. Even the funkiness about it, it's just rich. There's a little peppery note on it.
Yeah.
You get that honey sweetness. It's almost like a nice wheat bread, the maltiness of it. Mm-hmm. And just all that combined just made me think it's a very...
It's got a good mouthfeel, too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's a really rich and delicious beer.
It is. It's a good entry level farmhouse beer for those that aren't or don't know about farmhouses. It's very approachable, very easy, and I liked it.
It's like you're getting 18 counties worth of beer for 16 counties of price.
It's impressive. It's incredible.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how they did it.
It's like they're passing the savings right back
They
to the
are.
consumer.
That's
And then double the
That's big
size
time.
of what their normal bottles are.
right.
What's not to like about this?
Well, they had to make this bottle bigger to get all 16 counties in there.
It's
You mean all 18 counties for a 16
Well,
county
no, like I
price?
said, it's 16 counties, but it's got 18 counties worth of price, or worth of flavor.
Okay.
And body.
Gotcha.
You know, there's
At
like
least 18.
There's like exactly.
Almost
there's like
20
one
probably.
whole county that's just like luscious mouthfeel there.
Well, I
This-
get
you know?
a county of like hops. I actually get, with all the malt that's going on in here and all those flavors Kendall was talking about, there's a little bit of hops going on too.
Yeah.
paired-
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
Some bitterness
There's
for
3
sure.
counties of funkiness in there.
yeah, it's like the opposite end of the spectrum almost, or a different part of the spectrum than every other beer.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. There was really like a long tail of lingering sweetness, whereas most of the rest of their beers had a pretty dry finish or tart finish. Whereas with this, there's that like long cloying, to Kendall's point, honey sweetness to
definitely
it.
a honey.
Yeah.
You know, excuse me, now that you say that, I was getting that kind of that herbal peppery spice, and I was thinking that was coming from the yeast. But yeah, that's probably more hop derived. But
wonder-
it does add a nice touch.
Yeah, I wonder if the hops were local too, and if so, like
Yeah.
what kind of hops
It
are
did not say on the
grow-
bottle. I just looked at it.
Okay,
But
wondering like what hops would even grow up in Maine.
that's really
know what I
far
mean?
north. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure they grow hops. I know
Okay,
New York's really prevalent with hops now again.
yeah,
But above that certain latitude, they don't grow well, and it's
Yeah.
up there.
yeah, it is. Yeah, because we used to summer up in Nova Scotia and drive through the coast every year.
Summered in Nova Scotia.
I
Yes.
used to summer in Rangoon. When
Hey,
my
look.
father would make meat helmets.
I'm just saying, it was always so cool. You drive up the coast, at the pop up, and then go on the ferry to Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's what us Northerners do. What can I say?
Yeah, the hop yard, Maine grown hops.
No
Oh, there are
way.
some.
Oh, that's rad.
Race.
Which one of the 16 counties is that grown in?
I don't know.
One of it.
Shut up, Tim. Why is it always like extra questions with you or something?
Why?
Also,
Yeah, I'm just looking on the map. Yeah, the
Okay.
latitudes probably check out. It's right up there with around the 45th up there with Oregon and Washington.
okay.
Hmm.
Okay. It
Perfect.
just seems like, in the scheme of things, it just seems like it would be higher. You know what I mean?
No.
Okay, fine.
That's
It's
because
about-
when
it's
you
about
were
equal.
It's because when you were young, you were shorter.
Well, the
Oh.
lines
So everything
curve.
looks-
They
Yeah,
curve.
the
No,
curve-
it's actually flat. I don't know if you guys have heard that. It's
Oh,
really-
that's true.
Yeah,
You could fall right off. You could fall right
true.
off the edge.
totally fine.
Okay, fine.
I just looped in an entire insane demographic to the show. You're welcome, America.
Well, we needed another one.
You know he's right. He's right about that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Government don't want you to know about that.
Oh, prove it's round.
Government.
Oh, my gosh.
Proof's on you.
I do like the oat addition into this, too. I mean, a lot of farmhouses don't have a lot of oats to it, but I think that oat creaminess, like, helps the sweetness of it linger at the end.
That's probably where that's coming from, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think that any of the other beers that we have the oats in it. And I thought that was an interesting addition into this
As most of the
style.
rest of these, I mean, it's just like hard stops at the end, which is fine. I mean, it's great,
Right.
really crisp,
Yeah.
clean.
Right,
this
which
one
you
just
would
keeps.
expect.
Yeah,
This
awesome.
one's got legs. It keeps going.
It does. Okay. We gave this one a Suds rating of 3.
And you know, we should say
But we really like it a lot.
the most impressive part is how they kept all the Brett out of this beer and put it in every other beer. You know.
There you go.
True to that. True to that. Okay, moving on. Beer number 3.
Sparky.
Good old boy Sparky. Which one did
right.
you want to talk about?
I guess going in the order of things. Actually, can I talk about Nancy?
Please.
All right.
I don't know if Nancy would like that.
I'm a cherry slut, Kendall.
She was mine. She was to be. She was to be mine.
Do you want her?
We can trade.
All right. We're swapping.
Disposable, Nancy.
All right.
Do you think this is since this has cherries, do you think this is the first time they brewed it?
Oh man.
Probably not.
That took me way too long. I am
get that?
ashamed of myself. That took a 3-second
Wasn't
pause.
sure how to react to that
Okay.
one.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for taking your Nancy. I'll give you Tiarna.
Oh, sounds foreign.
Sounds
like
a
I'll take
pirate
it.
beer.
She's
Exotic
a little
dancer.
exotic.
Pirate woman.
So yes,
Welcome to the main stage.
I'm a
Tiarna.
card-carrying cherry slut, and I loved Nancy. An ale brewed with cherries. Nancy is a sour red ale fermented with Maine cherries and Brettanomyces and 100% stainless for just shy of a year. Dang, that's a long
Dang.
time, right? Got nothing but time and vats around there. The cherries were a blend of Batalon and Montmorency and added at a rate of 2 pounds per gallon. Copper in color, Nancy has an aroma of cherries, bread crust, and a touch of cinnamon. The flavor is a medley of tart cherry, citrus, and pie spice. The finish is dry with a lingering tartness. ABV 6.3.
Okay, ode to Nancy here. This is
Prost.
Nancy,
an incredibly beautiful, beautiful
You're a
beer.
beauty, Nancy.
Yes, we all love
I
you.
mean, her color is nice. She is clean
Well, we like the
as
redheads.
a whistle.
Yes, she is. Well, she wanted to pour me
Oh, my God. It's like the ultimate cherry
She's a
tartness.
saucy tart. She is.
But this, I mean, we have talked about Crooked Stave's Mama's
Mama Bear's
cherry
sour-
pie,
Yeah.
and this is like, this can go neck and neck, if not better. I mean, it's just such a beautiful cherry pie flavor.
You have to like cherry, though. I mean, to
You
like
do.
this beer,
You do.
Oh yeah,
have
because
to
you're
like
about to
cherry.
get cherried in the face.
Yeah,
On
but-
the nose, I got like berries and funk and candy, and then when I tasted it, and I think this is a little bit less prevalent now, it's a little bit colder then. But man, the first thing I wrote was sweet tarts. It
Oh,
reminded
yeah.
me of sweet tarts, and then I wrote it's like candy! Exclamation point with a nice tart finish. And now that it's warmed up a little bit, I am totally picking up the spiciness of the cinnamon and that kind of stuff, kind of in the very like 3/4 of the way through.
So do beers like this give you a new respect for sweet tarts? Like I always liked sweet tarts and that flavor, but now, but you know, I always thought it was kind of a very fakey flavor,
Sure.
fakey candy flavor. But now I'm like,
Maybe it
damn,
was like the OG Brett
yeah,
candy
what
or
have they,
something.
What have they been putting in sweet
Yeah.
tarts this whole time?
This whole
Dehydrated
time.
sour beer.
Artisanals. Well, you know, in East Nashville, you can actually get artisanal. They're craft made by hipsters. Sweet tarts. True story.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
if you're joking.
Really?
Or not.
No, and that's what's messed up.
gotta-
That is the
you
bad
that is
part.
kind of
You just got to pick
Because I
through
couldn't
the.
believe that.
yeah.
You got to pick
That's
through
like,
the beard
you
here.
know, they sell like $7 cupcakes. You're pulling my leg. No,
Yeah,
they do.
people buy them. That's the
Arti-
worst part.
artisanal sweet
People
tarts.
in-
You know, every time you buy them, they get more powerful.
Skinny,
It's true.
skinny jeans,
It's true.
Koch brothers.
skinny jeans, and
They're
man
owned.
buns. No,
Oh boy.
This one
Yeah.
warmed up nicely,
Penny
though. I think
loafers.
you're
It
right.
really did. Yeah. I mean, a
Yeah.
very different profile, and I'm still liking it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
definitely get. The one of the things I wrote was a deep funk. That funkiness is not
Yes.
just overwhelming and maybe more cheesy. This is more that real classic barnyard funk. It's
totally.
getting better, and the cinnamon's coming out as it warms up.
Yeah, it's rounding out a lot more as it warms up.
All of those flavors work just so well together to
do.
make you think you're eating a nice.
I was just
cherry
amazed
pie.
at how much I got of the funk on the nose, because that was just, really, like, when it was cold, it was still just, like, in your face.
No, yeah, I got that just out of the blue. Boom, there it was.
The more you guys are saying cinnamon, like the more that flavor like really started to come out for me on it too. It's cool.
Cinnamon.
Yeah, when it was colder, it was like more of a sharp acidity, and then now, like you're saying, there's so many different flavors. And I mean, you do have to like cherries to enjoy it, but I feel like sometimes when you have cherry beers or raspberry, or these other ones, it's just like a juice. But this is not. It's like you have to like cherries, but aside from that, it's not just like a cherry.
It's very pure.
Yeah.
Very, very pure in
Funky
flavor.
and
Yeah.
Multidimensional.
Yeah. The layers on this thing really blew me away.
Nancy's very complex.
Yeah.
You know?
And don't take her at face value, and let her warm up,
right.
for God's sakes.
Right.
Yeah.
Get to know Nancy.
She's pretty cold to begin with, and sharp and biting, but warms up
Yes.
well.
Well, lots
I
of
think
women are.
comparing
Tim, I
this
think you'll
one-
find that as you get older.
That's funny. Comparing this one to Farm to Face, I said this one in the pre-show. I think Allagash's fruit beers are always exceptional, and I think that my
They've
favorite
got it
beers.
down.
I
you know?
don't disagree.
My favorite beers
Yeah.
of theirs are always the fruited ones.
Yeah. I mean, and this is a great showcase of them. The peach in its own way, the Farm to Face is such a pure peach, and now this with the cherries. And, I mean, cherries can go sideways really quick.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be real.
Tastes like Vicks cough drops.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it
so,
kinda-
And vinegar. I
It
don't
shows
get any
you
of that.
shows you the control they have and how they know the fruits, because they use 3 pounds of peaches and then 2 pounds of cherries for every gallon. So
right.
you have to understand what you're working with.
True. And they're sourcing it from a really good place as well. And I'm so impressed by it. Anyways, collectively, all of us gave this, no shocker there, a Suds rating of 5.
Ooh. That's a very realistic sound effect. I smell that.
That's awesome. Okay, moving right along, we're going to go into a little exotic territory.
Timmy.
And good old boy Timmy, what would you like to talk about?
I'd like to talk about the temptress Tiarna.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yes. Tiarna, as they say in Maine, is a blend of 2 beers. One being aged in oak and fermented with 100% Brettanomyces, and the other is fermented in stainless with a blend of 2 different Belgian yeast strains. Both beers were both beers were originally brewed with a combination of 2-row and wheat malt, in addition to specialty grains, and hopped with Hallertau, Styrian Goldings, and Cascade hops. And the finished beer is dark golden in color with aromas of citrus, pineapple, and bread, and notes of grapefruit, lemon, and bread crust punctuate the flavor with a long, dry finish. This one clocks in at 7.1%. Tiarna.
So actually, an Ard Tiarna is a High Lord, approximately equal in rank to a Count or Earl.
That clears it up.
Well,
You.
he's also a very beautiful
I am.
almost count of Maine.
I got so much wood out of this, like
Oh,
hard
yeah.
wood.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wood
You know
for
what?
days.
I don't know what happened with the one that was in stainless, but maybe they never added
No.
that. But
Yeah,
This would last for more than 4 hours.
it makes sense. It's a male. You
should call a doctor.
Count.
You know, one of the things I wrote down, just first experience with this, was the oaky tannins. And as this is warmed up, that's really all I'm getting.
That's about all I taste now.
At first, there's a little almost cheesy funk in the aroma, like some of those Brett strains that give you almost that blue cheese
Yeah.
kind
It
of
was
flavor
blue
going
cheese.
on.
Gotcha.
So I got a little cheesiness and a little oakiness, and that's really all I got. It wasn't as complex as the other ones.
Oh, really? Wow, I must be the weirdo of the group because shut up. Because the pineapple for me really came through like a pineapple upside down cake.
When it was cold, I got the pineapple,
When
but
it
I
was
lost
cold,
it.
I got like melon and fruit on the nose, like wood and fruit on the nose.
Oh,
And then
'cause
when
I
I
still
tasted
do.
it,
Like wooden fruit.
no, I still have wood.
Oh.
And fruit.
Just
Wow.
and then like tart melon, like
That's all right.
the wood was
Just
getting
put-
in the way.
Man,
Just-
wood is pronounced. Yeah, don't move so quickly.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't point that in my direction.
Yowzers.
But no, just when it was colder, just this nice dry finish too. And now that it's
Ew.
a little bit warmer, did you get?
I got the poo.
You got the.
I got the poo.
Did you
on
get the
me.
prize
you.
at the bottom of the glass?
It's good for you. When
It's
it was
good
cold,
for you, yeah.
it's very fruity.
Actually,
I
that's
think
pretty good.
When it's cold, the Belgian yeast really came through a lot more. And then for whatever reason, when it's warmed up, the oak really just takes over.
Good Lord, Tiarna.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Sir.
Huh.
It's kind of like Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
So this is one of the few ones I think actually we all enjoyed more when it was cold.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if you
Yeah.
get a Tiarna, drink it quick.
but it is good.
Pound it.
And
Chug the 375.
Yeah.
Is that a challenge? 'Cause I
maybe
will
that's
do
why
that
it's
right
in the
now.
Do we have
375.
another Tiarna?
Maybe.
You saying it's a good beer bong beer?
Maybe. Yeah.
Could be. There's only one way to know for sure, Kendall.
Funnel a Tiarna.
Check out Sip Sud Smoke's Facebook page for the video.
Well, collectively, we gave this a 4.
That would be cool. Sparky and Kendall in a beer bong challenge of sour beers.
I've never done that. There is a video of me shotgunning a heady topper on the internet.
I saw a guy.
seen that one.
I saw a
Yes,
guy
I've
do
seen that one too.
a funnel of Utopias.
Oh yeah,
That
Oh, I
was
saw
that.
that.
was the worst idea that
What?
any human has
Yeah.
ever had.
Wait,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we've seen a follow-up video. He might not be
He
alive.
might not
not
be
have
alive.
made it.
I chugged a Leinenkugel with John Leinenkugel. I got him to chug one with me. I've got it. It's a
Nice.
great video. I'm really proud of that one.
Who won?
Come on, I took Leinenkugel for
In your
took him
face.
down.
In your face, lining
Yeah,
Are you
what are
supposed
you,
to let him-
multi-generational beer
Yeah.
guy? I'm going to take you with this chug.
More like girly Kugel.
Exactly. Wow.
Your nanny didn't teach you to chug.
That's true.
Gosh. All right. We'll be right back after a brief interlude.
New to Podcast One, Office Hours with Spencer Raskoff.
Hi, I'm Spencer Raskoff, the CEO of Zillow Group. Listen as I have one-on-one conversations with other CEOs. We have the kind of conversations that can only happen between peers, tackling tough questions, sharing hard-won insights, and helping to define what leadership means today.
You can find his show and other great business-related shows like Forbes Interview and Forbes Under 30 exclusively on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and the new Podcast One app.
Welcome back,
That was
everyone.
I agree.
I loved it.
Okay.
Hey, girl.
So we
Hey,
are
Nancy.
talking.
Where's Nancy?
Bye, Nancy.
Fancy Nancy.
We are in the
Nancy's
middle
cherries
of
are gone.
talking about a takeover from Allagash Brewing Company. God, I gotta reel you guys in. Okay, so the next beer that we're going to talk about from Allagash is Evora.
Oh. Wonder what that means.
Well, actually, Evora is the capital of Portugal's south central
What?
Alentejo region.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's the capital of South Portugal.
Wasn't the name of the mother-in-law
Is it like
Bewitched?
South
Oh,
Central?
no, that was Andorra.
South Central.
Ah,
So
yes.
like South Central Portugal is Evora.
Right.
Wow, you can get shot up in Evora, I bet you.
Yeah.
Well, it's if you look at somebody the wrong way.
And they have
just gotta-
some pretty
gotta watch
cool.
yourself.
Flash the wrong side.
How do you say blood
West,
in
west.
Portuguese?
I don't know.
Sangre.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyways,
Crips? How do you say Crips? South Central
El
Portugal, right?
Crips.
How do you say West Side in Portuguese? No? Next episode.
Yeah.
next episode, yes.
We're
Okay.
abandoned
I
Portugal.
think Evora is how you say West Side.
So, okay. So, Evora is aged in brandy barrels. It's a golden hued ale with aromas of tropical fruit, honey, spice.
My love and my lady is the sea.
You gotta play it out, dude. Once you
Brandy.
start,
Okay. All right. So, Golden Hued Ale with aromas of tropical fruit, honey, and spice. Citrus, oak, and earthiness dominate the flavor and give way to hints of bread crust. They love their bread crust at Allagash.
Man, you ever had some Portuguese bread?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the bomb diggity.
You're right
Portuguese
on about
wire
that.
bread's
There you
amazing.
go. Bam.
Yes. Malty and robust, this medium-bodied beer finishes fruity, dry, and slightly tart. They brew this beer with maris otter, yes, flaked oats, and hop with Sriracha Ace. And I love you, Allagash, for using Sriracha Ace in this beer. It's one of my favorite hops to brew with. Hallertau and Northern Brewer. So Evora begins fermenting in stainless steel with a classic Belgian yeast strain, then moves over to the Portuguese brandy barrels, where it ages with Brett B for over a year. And this is 9%, which really, it blew me away because it does not taste like a 9%
That
beer.
explains
Not
why
at
I
all.
can't feel my teeth right now.
That explains why we just burst into song.
Yeah, that was the singing. That explains the
It's
singing
not our
for
fault.
sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was 9%.
Dang,
Yeah.
dude.
Brandy's a hell of a drug.
Which that's weird, that. Well, I guess since the primary fermentation's what bumped it up that high, because most strains of Brett won't get you there. They don't really do so well at higher ABVs,
But I think whatever was left in the brandy barrel might have helped,
yeah.
Helped it out.
Oh, absolutely. I
Is
mean, that's
there-
Yeah. there's a
yeah.
lot
You're
of
picking
barrel.
up the booze from that. Yeah.
Yeah, there is some beautiful sweetness to this beer, and I find it more. Now you're looking at me like I got three heads.
No, I just like wonder like what kind of brandy, because I mean that's such a huge category. Like what type of brandy? I would love to know that.
Yeah, I don't
Portuguese
I don't,
brandy.
Portuguese.
I don't try a lot of brandy, but
I love brandy. I mean, and I love like all the brandy subcategories, Calvados and just
I mean, I've had a
Armagnac,
couple of brandies
cognac.
back when I was single, but
See, I thought this.
it's been a while.
Yeah. Allagash is going to get some quality barrels.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna get good wood.
Yeah. Good wood.
That's right. For 4 hours or more. You know what I'm saying?
Brandy knows.
I'm sure. Okay, so maybe it's
Yeah, well. Okay.
Especially when it was colder, I got like a nice dry finish off of it, just a light sweetness. And this is another one that's just really evolved a lot as it's warmed up.
Kendall, you've been silent.
Yeah, I think many of you like this one better than I did.
Oh.
I've
really?
had several from the Evora series.
That's right. See, you're...
Yeah, and this one just didn't do it for me. I got kind of a nice, like a wheat cracker flavor from the maltiness, definitely good funkiness there. But to me, there was more of that oak barrel that we've got in some of the others that
Right.
I think distracted from the other flavors that were going on.
The thing is, as it warms up, it kind of I feel like it loses some of that oak flavor versus the other one got more oak flavor. Because I thought at first it was very oak heavy and barrel heavy, and now I'm kind of getting a lot more of the fruit flavor. Although I did just get a fresh pour and it was kind of cold.
It's interesting, like, when you have a beer that you've had, that's kind of why verticals are cool.
Yeah, to see how it's evolved and then just how it's changed from year to year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
Because
true.
there's so many factors in a beer, that can throw it off, from the malt, a yeast strain changing from year to year, water. I mean, and even the brandy barrels, like, if it was a different kind of brandy barrel or a different.
No, you're absolutely right. That could be a huge.
This one was
evolution.
bottled 2 years ago.
Son of a.
there's that. Also, a little brief Googling here lets me know that Macieira, am I saying that right, is a Portuguese spirit that was created by Jose Guilherme Macieira, and forgive me if I'm butchering his name, son of Jose Maria, who studied in the French region of Cognac. So the type of brandy is, I would say, is similar to
a cognac.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tim, help him spin
just their little spin on it, but there's that. And it is rather popular in Portugal. So, that being said, we rated the Evora a 4.
Under protest from me and Kendall, who gave it a 3.
Correct.
Whatever, dude. I liked it.
Just saying.
I liked it.
We're going to have our voice heard.
I
All right,
thought-
that's what
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying.
I thought I had an Evora in cognac barrels one time, but maybe not.
Okay.
It's always brandy.
Yeah.
That tastes like cognac.
Well, cognac
It's
is a type of brandy.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's just that it is in the cognac region, right? Which gives it the cognac name.
so
correct.
Not
So
Portuguese.
you will never get Portuguese cognac.
No.
Right. But
It's
you
like you would only get, Armagnac is also a French brandy, but it's from a totally different region with a
Right.
totally different style of.
It's like champagne.
Different
Shum-
stills too.
Burgundy.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. Okay. Well, the last beer that we're going to discuss from Allagash is the Golden Brett, which is an ale aged in oak barrels. So, notes of citrus, apricot, and bread crust. Again, the love of bread crust knows no bounds. All make an appearance in this mildly tart, golden-colored beer. They brew Golden Brett with churro, Victory, oats, and red wheat malt. I know, right? Before fermenting it with their house strain of Brett, first in stainless and then in an 800-gallon oak
Foodie.
foederay. After hopping lightly with Northern Brewer and Simcoe, interesting that they use Simcoe in this, we dry hop it with Simcoe again prior to bottling. The beer is a golden example of what local strains of Brett can do, and it is 7.7% ABV.
Yummy.
I think this was good, not great, though.
That's kind of where I was, too. Of all the stuff that we had, I'd say this in 16 counties probably hit the bottom of my list. I got, there's definitely bread on the nose when it was first poured. Had a ton of carb, is really fizzy fun. Kind of got that smoky bread, very light fruit on it when it was colder. But, of all the examples that we've tried today, I'd say this probably was towards the bottom for me.
I actually thought this was one of my favorites.
I hate you, Kendall.
I love all Brett fermented beers because you don't get that what I would call barnyardy funkiness out of them. In fact, many times you would get very little funk. I thought this was a very clean beer for one fermented with Brett. It was, to me, rich and toasty, and I got just that hint of that oak and loved it.
Yeah, I definitely get a lot of oak because I keep smacking my lips.
Why are you guys
and
talking in
my
sign
mouth.
language? People can't hear that on the radio.
I thought it was a video.
But the live stream is incredible.
Dude,
I'm topless right now.
It's weird that they have that they put the camera under the table, though.
I know.
Why would you? Wait a minute.
Let's just be glad they don't have smell-o-vision. That's the...
Yeah, that
Sure,
would.
this was almost like a nice farmhousey ale, as opposed to what you would normally think of as a bread ale. It's more saison like.
Yeah, it is more
absolutely,
saison.
yeah, drier, and I don't know. I guess I'm a fruit whore, so some of the other stuff we've been messing
certainly
up.
are.
Yes, I is.
Well, but here's the thing. Allagash, we know they love their fruits. They do their fruits really well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for somebody who doesn't like fruited beers, there are a couple options, in just regular farmhousey, saison-y type of styles.
Well, I think we should make clear that none of these beers are bad.
No.
Oh my God, no.
It's just a matter of which beer do you like more than the others.
Yes, we almost have a separate scale just for Allagash. The spectrum of Allagash eyes.
Yeah.
Allagashes.
Whoa, yeah, I don't think you can say that
whoa.
on the radio.
Allagashists?
Yeah,
I think it's plural
Allagashery.
as well. Allagash.
I think if we had each of these beers separately in a flight of similar beers, the Allagash one would rise to the
stand
top
out.
in
I would
every
completely-
category.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
true.
Because every one of these are high quality beers.
No,
They
there's
are.
not a loser in the bunch.
No.
It's just a spectrum of
Except Tim.
awesomeness.
And the thing is, I think it's safe to say
Ouch.
that all of us have been enjoying Allagash for many years.
Absolutely.
And it is very consistent over those years.
Please
and
come to
that's,
Tennessee. What?
Please come to Tennessee. But, that being said, I think that's a good testament, to make these style of beers and to be so consistent for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
Since
good.
the 90s.
Yeah.
I know, man.
Yeah,
It's
that is
you know,
crazy.
a lot of the people that are probably just getting into this style or have over the last 5+ years are probably going to school on Allagash. That's the reality. These guys have it down to a science.
Well, it's weird, like when a lot of times you think, man, Brett beers, they're just coming on the scene, or everybody just started talking about like oak aged beers, and I think you have to differentiate between the different types of barrels and different types of beers and applications for barrels. Like bourbon barrel stouts. I don't think people have been doing that for forever, but the Belgians have been brewing and aging beers in oak for, millennia, like since Jesus.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty
true,
much.
man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus Light was a hell of a beer, though.
Jesus was a Saison man. I believe that.
Jesus is all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. So
Jesus is just all right with me.
So the Golden Brett, we rated this a 3.
A 3 on the Allagash scale.
But
just to be clear.
3 is a magic number.
3.
Yes.
So, so
I got 5 on it.
shut up, Tim.
Yeah, if we're going to offer dissenting opinions, I was a little higher on that.
Well, not really 5, but
You're just being a contrarian.
You just can't keep a story straight, can you?
So
Well,
I'm just curious, is there an Allagash beer that we didn't have represented here that you guys have had that are just a big fan of? I'm just curious.
Well, I've had the white.
The Allagash White is
that's
classic.
Yeah.
very classic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a crusher. You can drink that all day. And
Hell yeah.
I think I heard that they send most of that beer out to the West Coast.
Is that
Probably.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what?
one of their biggest markets for Allagash
That
White.
is
It's L.A.
One more
Wow.
reason for me to hate Southern California.
They take all,
man.
they take all your Allagash White.
I know, right?
But,
Jerks.
Spread
We're
it
closer.
around. Yeah, it has
Yeah,
to
it's-
come over us.
Yeah.
It's so easy to find too, in a lot of markets. Pretty much every time I've traveled, you see Allagash White on tap, and a lot of people will diss a wit just because it is a lighter, easier drinking style. But man, they're so refreshing.
Well, some of the wit beers that you get kind of give it a. It's they have a very specific flavor profile, and if you're not into that, you get a bad rap on it right
Yeah.
away, and then you're not going to try something
That style just amazes me because when you look at the history, though, of like pretty much how it was reintroduced after the Second World War and just came out of nowhere, and now has really become ubiquitous in the United States, considering it is a fairly complex profile of
So
beer.
I think you can safely say that you should associate Belgian wit beers with beating Nazis.
Well,
Yeah, it's wonderful.
yeah.
You know, I mean that's right. Nazis did not like Belgian wit beers,
No,
so
they really didn't.
You know what? If you don't
That's
drink,
another reason to hate Nazis.
If-
Thank you. And for Sip Suds and Smokes, yet another reason to hate Nazis.
Yes.
Good job, guys.
so
We did it.
We're
wit
taking a hard
beers-
stance.
Wit beers are against hate. So there you go.
Thanks, Allagash.
And-
And
and
thank
yeah,
you,
justice.
Wit
by
Beers.
extension, Allagash is against hate.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
So,
true.
Thank you, Allagash, for defeating the Nazis.
Yes. Good. Bravo.
God, those people from Maine are incredible.
Let's
They
get
really are.
Is there anything
I've
they
got another
You know,
can't
it's
do?
such a tiny state. Wait, no. But
16
no, so
counties.
powerful. Yeah, only 16 counties.
16 counties, and they beat the Nazis.
16 counties
Live with
in
that.
Portland, though. That's the amazing part. It's
So
not.
you asked me another Allagash beer. Let's get this back on the beer.
Yeah, exactly.
They're Abbey beer, Abbey style beers. The double, triple, dark
right.
strong. They do
Yes.
some solid Belgian beers.
Yeah, the
wish people-
interlude.
Sparky
I love the
loves
interlude.
Abby.
I
Okay?
do love Abby.
He loves
a lot.
Abby very much.
Yes,
Probably my favorite.
He would marry Abby if he could.
I would.
I think he
Oh,
might
that's right,
have
he did.
married
Yes.
an
I did.
Abbey. Yes. Okay.
True story.
Another one though that we've had a couple of times. The IPA from there.
The Allagash IPA. Yeah.
The Belgian IPA, Hugh Malone
Yes,
or
that
something
was
like
good.
that.
I don't know
Yes.
that one.
And the hoppy table beer.
Yes, yes,
that
yes.
was a good one too.
Okay, fine. I guess we got to wrap this up. Oh well. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode because we certainly did
Really?
enjoy this episode. Yes, we did.
No.
You can catch all of our episodes online, as well as on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. iTunes, Google Play, and our own Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search for Sip Suds Smokes on iTunes or in the Google Play Store.
We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter and Instagram every day at Sip, Suds, and Smoke, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news.
Good old boy Kendall, please tell us about your blog.
My beautiful wife and I blog about the good news of good beer at beermix3.com.
Oh, I want to please take the time to rate this episode if you're listening online. 5 stars.
Yeah. 5. Well, I want to thank our hosts for being at the table and being all epic. Good old boy Dave.
Hey, check me out on Instagram at goodoldboydave for daily 60-second beer reviews.
Good old boy Kendall.
It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Good old boy Sparky.
Thank you for continuing to help my work release program with the Federals. Appreciate that.
We're here for you.
He's getting out of that halfway house soon.
Yeah, we're here for you. And good old boy Tim.
I wanted to thank Nancy, Brandy, and Tiarna.
This is good old gal Julieanna. Please keep on juggling, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sip, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see y'all next time.